From the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
We are learning that the deadly coronavirus has claimed its first victim outside of China. A 44-year-old man has died in the Philippines. He was traveling there from Wuhan, China, and China is now reporting over 300 deaths. The virus has sickened more than 14,000 people. The latest case reported here in the United States is in Boston. A student at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, tested positive after traveling to the center of the outbreak. He has been placed in isolation, but the news is rattling his fellow students.
It worries me that we don't know how long he has been here. Has he gone to classes? And we don't know what to do, you know.
Anyone who came in contact with him, we're working on that situation.
This is the 8th confirmed case of coronavirus in the U.S. That included one here in Santa Clara County that was announced on Friday. The Santa Clara County patient got sick after returning from Wuhan last week. He has been isolated, and health officials say the risk to the public is low. And coming up in our next half hour, how Air Force bases across the country, including one near the Bay Area, are preparing in case the outbreak spreads.
Now to a deadly fire in Walnut Creek. A man was killed early yesterday morning after a fire swept through his condo. Nearby residents were evacuated, and firefighters say damage was contained to the one unit that burned. The victim, though, has not been identified. Nobody else was hurt, but we are told that the victim's dog was injured.
An Antioch teen is in critical condition this morning after being shot 3 times outside Deer Valley High School. Police say a group of students had been fighting in the parking lot after Friday night's basketball game between Deer Valley and Antioch High. The victim is a 16-year-old Deer Valley student. So far, no arrests have been made.
Another sideshow caught on camera in San Francisco Saturday night. Our photographer actually ended up getting caught in this mess on Mission Street. It was between 26th and 23rd Streets. Several cars were out doing stunts, and we even spotted lowriders cruising down the street as people decked out in Niners gear watched on. Of course, we reached out to San Francisco police, but so far no word yet on any arrests.
Now to Campaign 2020. Tomorrow is the big day in Iowa. The first votes will be cast in the 2020 election. Democratic candidates making their last-minute pitches this weekend. CBS News' Natalie Brand is following the action in Iowa.
The Democratic senators running for president are back in Iowa for the critical final hours of campaigning before Monday's caucuses. The impeachment trial sidelined the senators, but campaign events carried on without them.
Gotcha.
Some star-studded. Sanders supporters like Chris Jeffrey, who caucused for the Vermont senator in 2016, are energized again.
I think the support that we're seeing here shows that he's become much more than a dark horse candidate now.
Polls indicate a tight race between candidates vying to take on President Trump in November, with Biden, Sanders, Buttigieg, and Warren in the top 4 spots.
Double Biden. There we go.
And behind each campaign, dedicated and door-knocking volunteers.
Is Joe in your top 3 for candidates, would you say?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that in Iowa, it's a thing to stand aside till the very end because they want to hear from every candidate.
While the candidates are crisscrossing Iowa, it's not just locals listening. Political junkies have traveled from across the country to hear their messages.
We go to as many events as we can to see the candidates up close and personal.
The Wolfs and the Gaines visiting from California call themselves caucus tourists.
By the time we get to California, a lot of these candidates won't even be around running for president anymore.
I kind of understand why Iowans don't make their mind up to the last minute. They have everybody trying to get their vote.
And they have front row seats for the primary season about to begin. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Iowa.
A live look from Capitol Hill after a lively vote Friday to wrap up the impeachment trial. Senators voting not to call any more witnesses. The final impeachment vote is scheduled for Wednesday afternoon. President Trump will give his State of the Union address the night before.
Tens of thousands of football fans in Miami this morning ahead of Super Bowl 54. CBS correspondent Manuel Bejorges on the massive security team keeping an eye on them from the sky and sea.
It's a stunning host city, but Miami brings a whole host of unique security challenges. We went airborne with Customs and Border Protection's Air and Marine team and Agent Todd Gale.
What are the challenges of securing a place like this? Well, first of all, we're surrounded by water. So it's really important that we have our maritime assets out on the water, actively patrolling, looking for any threats that might come to the Super Bowl.
This bird's eye view is also critical to monitor activity, not just down below, but up here.
Above Hard Rock Stadium, the FAA will restrict airspace, and Black Hawk helicopters will patrol the skies looking for any unauthorized aircraft, including drones. Some of the helicopters are equipped with infrared cameras, which can spot people on the ground and in the stands, and they will transmit those images live to the command center.
Here, Miami-Dade Police has tons of TVs, but they won't be watching the game.
So this gives us access to thousands of cameras throughout the county that we can tap into if something's going on.
And this year, Super Bowl venues are scattered, 3 different major event locations. Hard Rock Stadium is about 13 miles from the Miami Beach Convention Center, where the Super Bowl experience is taking place, and a concert venue downtown. That means additional fencing and screening of everything and everyone that goes inside is happening at all locations. Inspections are also ramping up on the water. The Coast Guard is establishing security zones along Biscayne Bay. And at Port Miami, one of the nation's busiest, agents are on the lookout for drugs and contraband, including counterfeit Super Bowl souvenirs, which are already popping up.
And while patrols are being beefed up on the water, officials do say at this point there are no known credible threats against the game. There is another concern, the coronavirus. Health officials have set up a quarantine station at Miami's International Airport as a precaution. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Miami.
Dennis and Vern join us live once again from South Florida with a look at some of the key players in today's Super Bowl. Guys, I hope you have sunscreen on.
Actually, I don't.
It's built in.
We're down to crunch time right now. Time to talk X's and O's. Yeah. Pat Mahomes is the X factor for Kansas City. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. How do the 49ers contain Pat Mahomes?
Well, it's a challenge for Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator. He's had 2 weeks to try and figure out how to contain this man. Probably the best defense is to have the 49ers run the football and keep Pat Mahomes on the sidelines.
Well, 49er pass rush, the best in football. Nick Bosa, Dee Ford, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead. That is going to be the key, led by the rookie who got Rookie of the Year honors yesterday. Transition to Jimmy G. Has not been asked to do very much in the postseason. What do you think is going to happen today?
I think the game plan is to try and establish and run the football, and if they can, I'm sure Kyle Shanahan has a backup plan for that one. But it would be interesting to see. It'd be pretty cool to see the game ride on Jimmy G's shoulders just to get the critics off his back.
Give me a final score.
I don't feel good about it. I got 27-26 49ers, but the Chiefs have the ball driving for a winning field goal.
The 49ers will win this game 37-34. Jerry Jones, Cowboys owner, told me last night that this is the best matchup in the history of the Super Bowl. So it looks good on paper, doesn't always play out that way, but there's a cigar store. We're going to go get a cigar and celebrate tonight. Right now, that's it from the beach. Michelle Griego, your final thoughts and your prediction.
My prediction. Okay, well, first of all, I have been talking to a lot of 49ers fans, and they think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Of course, they are there to support their team. But quite honestly, when you look at the Kansas City team, they have Mahomes and who? Crickets? Mahomes. So I think the Niners have a better chance of winning. They have way more weapons as long as Jimmy G can hit certain players like George Kittle. And I think it's going to be 38-34. That is my prediction. If I win, guys, you are giving me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm thinking that I have a good luck charm. I busted out my lucky gold sparkly shoes today just for the red and gold. So you know what? Niners are taking it today. They have a lot of luck in Miami, too. They've had 2 Super Bowl rings here in Miami. They may go for the 3rd.
Wow, but Michelle's got it all figured out. She's broken it down.
Yeah, I mean, we can just all bow to Michelle, who apparently she's got it all down. She's got a crystal ball in her back pocket.
She's got the lucky slippers.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Continue to have so much fun. And everybody else at home, be sure to join us tonight after the Super Bowl for our live post-game special. It starts at 7 o'clock right here on KPIX 5 and streaming on CBSN Bay Area. 60 Minutes, of course, will be shown on our sister station, KBCW 44, Cable 12.
And Darren, you were saying a little windy this afternoon, so if your Super Bowl party is inside and outside, be mindful of that.
Be aware of that, because we could hit 40-mile-an-hour gusts this afternoon. As long as that Super Bowl party isn't in the backyard with a big tent, you should be fine. But if you've got one of those, start making plans to adjust, because that might not be the best idea for today.
All right, we will keep that in mind. I know we're all decked out in our 49ers colors, so we've got our fingers crossed for the team.
All right, go Niners. Thanks so much for joining us. CBS Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley is next here on KPIX 5.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We will see you here next weekend.